Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. It is a sad, gloomy day in New York today, so I felt like baking. So today we are going to be making these almond butter blondies that are so rich and chocolatey and so delicious and so easy to make. And then while they are baking, we are going to do a Q&A and catch up a little bit because I feel like I've been making videos for my YouTube channel about beauty and all these things and I'm like, but I haven't done a real like talking to camera, chatty type video. So we are going to do that here today. So let's make these delicious brownies, blondies, whatever you want to call them, and let's chat. Here is everything we are going to need for our brownies. We have some eggs, some dark chocolate, some coconut sugar, some almond butter, some coconut oil. This is actually coconut butter, but it tastes really good with this as well. Some coconut flour, some maple syrup, and some salt, and typically a little vanilla extract, but I am out. But this is everything that we are going to need for our brownies. Before we dive in and before you start making your brownies, make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So in a large bowl, I'm putting in 1 cup of almond butter. This is my absolute favorite brand of almond butter. It is expensive, but it is so freaking delicious. Then we're doing 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup. Then we are doing 1/2 cup of coconut sugar, 1 tablespoon of melted coconut oil or coconut butter, 2 large eggs, and then mix that together as much as you can before adding in the rest of the ingredients. Then adding in 1 tablespoon of coconut flour, 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and then mix that together. I like to use a fork when I'm mixing it because when you use a whisk, the almond butter really gets stuck in there, which I don't love, so I just use a fork. Now we're gonna add in our chocolate. So you can use chocolate chips, but I really like to use a dark chocolate bar, and I cut this up and put the whole thing in. Add that to your bowl and mix it up. You're going to need a square baking tray. I love these caraway pans. They're like a non-toxic, non-stick pan. So I'm gonna line this with some parchment paper, put the batter in, and we're going to pop it into the oven for about 18 to 22 minutes. Just adding the batter into here, and then I will spread it out in a little bit to make sure that it's evenly distributed throughout the pan. Then just make sure it's really spread out on the parchment paper so you get that square shape. Okay, so I've got it evenly distributed in the pan with the parchment paper. I think the parchment paper was supposed to make it easier and was weirdly making it harder, but I am not a baker. I'm just a girl who is baking this and showing you how to make it because it's freaking delicious. Let's put it in the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 18 minutes. While our almond butter blondies are baking, we are going to do a Q&A and catch up and chat. So come with me. Okay, welcome to this very cozy corner of my couch. Also, my children are not here right now. They are usually always here, so I'm taking advantage of this moment and shooting in my living room. The kitchen is right here and our brownies are baking. I asked you guys to submit questions on Instagram and here they are. I have not even really previewed these. We're just gonna get right into it. The first question that I see here, and it's coming up the most, is how did you get your body back after your second baby? So I am almost 1 year postpartum, and it has been a very, very long journey, it feels, to get back to like my pre-pregnancy body. With my daughter Teddy, it took me about 7 months, and with Oliver, it's like taken the full year. I've shared on my Instagram before, I have a trainer who I worked out with 2 to 3 times a week, and I primarily focused on weightlifting with her. Whenever I'm trying to lose weight, I really focus on putting on muscle because I feel like when I'm stronger, I look better, I feel better, and I have less kind of overall body fat. So I worked out with her 3 days a week, and then 2 to 3 other days a week, I did a low intensity cardio. So that's going for a long walk, walking on an incline, and then about 1 to 2 days a week, I did more of a high intensity workout, and this is still my workout split right now. And granted, this was not my workout split immediately after I had my son. After I had Oliver, I literally just started walking. I did start working out with Elise, but we were doing like postpartum kind of core, very lightweight. Like it took me a really long time to build up this stamina. And I feel like I'm only now starting to see results like for like how strong I've been like working on getting over the last couple of months. So that's what my workouts looked like. And then in terms of nutrition, I'm always hesitant to talk about nutrition because I think it's really different for each person. But for myself, my meals have to be very simple and quite boring in order for me to lose weight. Like I feel like there's a lot of talk of like intuitive eating and all of that, and like my intuition tells me to eat like McDonald's and pizza every single day. Like, I do meal prep. So for breakfast, I really try to get in the 30 grams of protein in the morning. Having protein is so important when you are trying to build muscle. It also really helped me with cravings. So I craved a lot less sweets and simple carbohydrates when I really get my protein in first thing in the morning. And then for lunch, I would always have my meals kind of prepped. So it's either some sort of chicken and then some green vegetables. So usually I would have like steamed broccoli and some sweet potato or some rice or something like that. And then depending on how hard of a workout I did that day, I would either have more carbs or less carbs. And then for dinner, it was something similar. And then in terms of snacks, it was like almonds, almond butter. But for me, really losing the weight, my number one tip, and I feel like this can be kind of triggering for people, is I do have to use some sort of food tracker for about 2 weeks just to figure out how much I'm eating. And that is so helpful for me to be more mindful and kind of figure out, like, I remember when I started tracking my food again, I was like, oh, I'm almost eating over 3,000 calories per day. And I didn't realize that because I was eating lots of super nutritious foods, but it was like avocados and nut butters and kind of rich foods, which are amazing for you, but the calories kind of add up. But calorie tracking or calorie counting is not something I do or recommend long-term. It's just not sustainable. But I do think it is a really helpful tool in the beginning to figure out where you're at, how much are you eating, and how much should you be eating to get to kind of the place that you actually want to be. So those are kind of the few key things that really helped me lose the weight. But like I said, I don't think I really started to see results until like the 9, 10, 11 month mark, which I'm kind of in right now. So it just takes time. And I feel like my biggest advice is like that you have to stay consistent, but staying consistent is so annoying and so hard when you're seeing literally like no results. Like I went literally weeks sometimes where the scale would not change whatsoever. And I was like, what is the point of this? Why am I doing this? But I just stayed on course, and eventually you could do kind of break through those plateaus and get to the place that you want to be. And now I feel really good where I'm at. Of course, my body is very different from before, like before I had kids, but I do feel pretty good. I see a question here, like, how do you work out with 2 small children? So I do want to be clear and transparent that I do have a full-time nanny who is wonderful, who we love so much, and I would not be able to do so many things if I did not have her include like make this video and bake these brownies and work out all the time. But on the weekends when I'm solo with the kids, I mean, now it's nice because we actually moved Oliver to 1 nap a day, so they actually overlap for a little bit. But typically what I do on the weekends when Oliver was still napping twice a day and Teddy was only napping once a day and they didn't really have overlap, I would put Oliver down for his nap at 10 a.m. and then I would take Teddy downstairs and I would put on a show for her while I worked out. And it did work out for me and for her because obviously she loves watching shows, and I would put on Miss Rachel or Blippi or one of those things. But sometimes honestly I'm so exhausted on the weekend, I'll nap first, and like if I still have 20 minutes to work out, I'll do that. But I do tend to prioritize sleep over working out on the weekends. And then during the week I'm able to do it because I have a nanny and she helps me and she takes the kids, and I'm able to run downstairs and get in a good workout. This actually kind of relates to the last question. Someone said, what is one thing, mental or physical, you'd always choose to do for your health? For me, like the most important thing for my mood and how I am throughout the day is to make sure I get a good night of sleep. And now I feel like I'm so much more protective of my evenings. And even on the weekends, like on Friday nights, I'm like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to stay out late. Like, especially when you have kids and you're going to be up early with them, I'm just like, no, that's not happening. I've been trying to be a lot better about like my sleep hygiene, and I've been using the downtime function on iPhone so that I can block kind of Instagram, TikTok, all of those things by 8 p.m. every single night. And I don't think I'm allowed back on it until like 9 a.m. the next day because I need to rest and sleep. And I was going through a really bad pattern where I would wake up in the middle of the night, look at my phone, and I would check social media and do things like that. I think I just had such disturbed sleep from having 2 kids and like waking up and nursing, and my body just got so used to like waking up and being like, like, what do I need to do? Like, who's awake? Where's my kid? Like things like that, even though they fully sleep through the night now. I think my hormones were kind of all out of whack for a little while. So I've been better about kind of staying off social media late at night and like not looking at my phone at night. And I read, Kyle and I both read every single night before bed for about like 20-30 minutes. And that really kind of helps me kind of wind down and make sure that I kind of get ready to get a full 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I also go to sleep so early. I go to bed at like 9:30 at night and I wake up around like 5:30, 6 in the morning. And that tends to be like what works for me. But some people think I'm insane because I'm like texting them at 5 a.m. and they're like, hello, Emily, like I am asleep. What are you doing? And I'm like, rise and shine, people, but I love the mornings. Somebody asked, can you tell us about your journaling routine? So I have gotten into journaling and I've been a lot better about it over the last couple of months. And I've shared this in my recent morning routine video, but all I do is every single morning I write a few things that I'm grateful for. I also write down affirmations, and I really depend that on how I'm feeling that day. Like some days I wake up kind of anxious and I look on my phone for like affirmations around anxiety, or sometimes I'm feeling down, or sometimes I have like a big to-do list that day and I'm looking for words of encouragement or affirmation. And sometimes I take a picture of them so I can look at them throughout the day. And then sometimes I just free write and kind of talk about how I'm feeling that day, what's going on. Sometimes I doodle a little bit, or sometimes I paste some photos in there or receipts. I kind of make it like a journal slash scrapbook. I think some people call it like junk journaling. I really stayed consistent with it, but the least that I always do is at least affirmations and gratitude. It really just uplifts my mood and my spirit and sets the tone for the day. Somebody asked me what my skincare routine was while I was pregnant and postpartum. So it didn't change. My skincare routine has been the same for the last like 4 years. And I hate to say it, like, because you guys know that I founded Covey and created Covey, but it truly is all that I used. I used Covey's First of All cleanser, and then I used Covey's Sleep Type Bakuchiol at night. And then I used our last but not least moisturizer. And then in the mornings, the only difference was that I used our Next Up Vitamin C Serum. And then I used our Sun and Done SPF, obviously during the day as well. And that's literally all I used while I was pregnant. And the Bakuchiol really helps with fine lines and wrinkles and collagen production. And then the Vitamin C Serum helps protect the skin against free radicals, and it helps with collagen production and fine lines as well, and hyperpigmentation. So I'll link everything below so you guys can take a look at it. But that is like my tried and true skincare routine. The only difference in my skincare routine now, like that I'm not pregnant or nursing, is that I use tretinoin about, I'd say only twice a week, sometimes even only once a week, just because it's so harsh on your skin at night. And usually I do a layer of our last but not least moisturizer, and then I do a layer of tretinoin. And that seems to kind of help my skin not freak out so much from the tretinoin, because it can really start like peeling and looks crazy. And my dermatologist, Dr. Julie Rusak, recommended that I do that. So that's kind of what I do. Okay, somebody asked me, do you want to have another baby? I do want to have another baby. I always dreamed of 3 children. You guys know, if you follow me for a while, I had my first daughter and then I got pregnant when I was 7 months postpartum. It happened very quickly, and it wasn't not on accident. We like weren't trying, but we weren't not trying, if that makes sense. I knew I wanted more kids, and I'm actually grateful that I did it back to back like that. It is not for the weak of heart, but I think that if I had waited too long, it would have taken me a really long time to get back on the horse and do it again, because I had a really hard time the first time postpartum. Second time was a little bit easier, but I still had a hard time, and I'm like, I still feel like I'm having a hard time. I'm like still in it, even though Oliver's almost 1. I do think that I'll have 1 more, but I'm gonna give myself a little bit more time this time, because I feel like for my mental and like physical health, I just need a little more time to like recover and feel good, be social, have a cocktail when I want, wear my clothes again. Like I just felt like I was pregnant for like 3 years straight, pregnant or postpartum, which I basically was. I don't think there will ever be like this perfect time for me to get pregnant again, but maybe when my son is around 2, maybe when he's in his little nursery school or something, we can start thinking about it. I brought it up the other day to Kyle, and he was like, Emily, we need to like take a beat. And I'm like, I need another baby. I love babies and I love kids and I love my kids, so that's that. Somebody asked me what my favorite protein powder is. My favorite protein powder is made of protein, but I just really liked it because it was grass-fed whey and it has like not much of a taste, which is my go-to thing. That is my favorite protein. Somebody asked me, what do you wear when you are pregnant? This is really hard. I have a ton of pregnancy inspo though on my Instagram in terms of what to wear, because I feel like I really tried to put together kind of cute looks and outfits, but it is not easy, and especially because you're like not inspired, at least I wasn't, to get dressed every single day. The best things to wear is leggings, I feel like riding boots, and a long oversized sweater. Somebody asked me how many steps I take a day, and I'm going to tell you, like, not because I want to brag, but also like I kind of do. I wear an Oura ring, which I love, and this tracks sleep and steps, and this also helps me track my cycles. And I am doing almost 20,000 steps a day, which is wild. I really try to go out and walk almost first thing in the morning when my nanny starts. I've been trying to walk about an hour a day outside, or 3 miles or so. And then plus just walking around my house and like doing stuff, I hit 20,000 steps a day. Like, I really do think that that has also helped like with my weight loss, but I'm like really proud of myself. Somebody asked me what you're reading right now. I just read Pineapple Street. I'm in a book club, very suburban of me. I feel like in terms of what I like to read, it's so basic. Like I do like the romance and I do like the drama. I like a rom-com. like in a book. I like to keep it light, especially because I read before bed and I want it to be light and fun and cute. When it's like a thriller or when it's something kind of boring, I'm just like, rather not. Kyle was reading A New Earth, so I decided to hop on the bandwagon so we could have our own little mini book club and talk about it. So I'm also reading A New Earth and I've been enjoying that too. So that's kind of what I am reading right now. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are reading and if you have any recommendations. Like, I love those Colleen Hoover books and all of that. Like, I'm that girl. I'm not afraid to say it, you know? Somebody asked me what my favorite thing about motherhood is. That is a really hard one. I love the snuggles, but I think what I love about motherhood is just like, it is the most close and intimate and knowing of a person that you could ever have. Like, sometimes I look at my kids and I'm like, first of all, you were inside of me for 9 months. I know everything about you, like every freckle. Like the other day, Teddy was pointing at a freckle of mine and she was like, I don't have any freckles. And I was like, yes, you do. And I'm like, I know every birthmark, like every freckle, every part of your face, like every food that you like, what you don't like, what words you said first, like what words you got wrong, what words you're getting right now. Like, there's just like a closeness and all-knowing intimacy of you and a child that is so cool and so special. And like, of course I love Kyle, but it's like a different relationship with your kids. Like, you just, and I know this is going to change too, right? Because kids change, they grow, they evolve, they become teens. They're not gonna wanna talk to me. I'm not gonna know every single thing about them. But I do love that I just feel so close to them, and I love them so much and I care about them so much, and it's just the most unique type of feeling. And you know, I wasn't one of those people who was like, I need to have kids, I need to be a mom, but I knew that I wanted to be a mom, but I wasn't sure why. And I just feel like now that I do have kids, I can confirm that it is so worth it. It is totally difficult and challenging, and it can be just like really challenging on you in a relationship sometimes, like between you and your partner, and you will go through huge, massive changes, like mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but it is 100% worth it. And there's a reason why like people continue to go on and have kids, because it's awesome and it's worth it and it is so special. Somebody asked me if I have friends. Yes, I do. Somebody said, since I moved to the suburbs from the city, I get so scared sleeping in a house. How do you feel about it? Yeah, I feel so scared, especially when Kyle is not here. First of all, I'm afraid of the dark. And when Kyle isn't here and I'm sleeping alone here with the kids, like I'm scared out of my bejeebers. Like, I'm such a scaredy cat. I actually like don't have advice for this. Do you guys have advice for this? I like legit don't. I like went to try to like make something up and I'm like, girl, you're so scared. Like, you can't answer this. If anyone has any tips and tricks, please write them below, because I'm literally so scared. Which is hard because you have to be the brave one as the mom, and like sometimes I'm like, oh, I like will not go back downstairs. It's like too dark down there. Like once my kids are asleep, I'm like, no, we're all staying upstairs, because like I'm not going down there. The boogeyman is down there. Let's go eat our freaking brownies. I think I've answered enough questions here. Okay, here's what they come out looking like. I used a fork and kind of stabbed it a few times while it was baking, because I think I went actually up to like 23 minutes. But let's cut these and let's eat them. Okay everyone, our brownies are complete. I'm pretending I'm going to have one, but Lord knows I'm gonna probably eat half the batch before anyone even enters the kitchen. And a cup of almond milk. Let me know if you guys try this recipe. It is so freaking good. I did my almond butter cookies on here a couple of years ago. They're so moist. I think it's the coconut butter that makes them like that. I need a minute, hold on. So good. It's also like 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm eating these. I'm going to eat these and just hang out before my kids come back. I have to bring my daughter to school. I have to bring my daughter to school in a few minutes. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you make this recipe. Please tag me if you do. I love to see when you guys make some of the recipes and things that I share. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. But if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for coming back. Let me know what you would like to see next from me. I always look in the comments, so please comment below, and I will see you guys next time.